What's going on? Welcome back to Normal Baseball. Carlos Correa has still not signed a contract. Trevor Bauer is back, and the Diamondbacks might actually be good next year. Let's talk about it. What's going on? Welcome back to yet another episode of the Normal Baseball Podcast. I'm Alex Normal Dog. That is Lewis. And it is currently Friday, December 30th. The day you're seeing this is the day we are recording this because it is 12:09 in the morning. It is what it is. Gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, we have some stuff to talk about. Some stuff's been going around. I'm very excited. Let's just get right into it. First topic I think we have on the board is a pretty big one. Trevor Bauer is back.
Welcome back.
Trevor Bauer just this week had his 300-game suspension reduced to just 193 games, which means he already served that part and he was reinstated. So Trevor Bauer is now back. It is currently in the air if he will play for the Dodgers next season because that is where his contract lies. But it just depends on if the Dodgers want to pay him or not, or if the Dodgers want to play him rather,
Right.
or not. But one way or another, I think we will see Trevor Bauer on the mound in 2023.
I do agree with you. Whether or not it's in a Dodgers uniform is yet to be known. However, either way, like Alex mentioned, he's going to get paid and he's going to play. So the MLB has reinstated him. The Dodgers still have not decided on whether or not they would like to reinstate him to their Major League roster, which his contract entitles him to. If they choose not to, they have to release him, but they do also owe him $22 million upon release. So, and they can watch him go somewhere else, or he can re-sign with the Dodgers on a cheaper contract. There's so many different options for him, and honestly, I think Trevor Bauer is the pitcher that the Dodgers need right now.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm the Dodgers, I'm playing him.
Yeah.
It's a little like murky water. We're not going to get too into what happened. I'm sure if you're listening to this, you know what happened. But if I'm the Dodgers, I play him. He's back anyway. You release him, you owe him $22 million anyway, as opposed to the $34 I think he's supposed to make this year.
Yes.
So is saving $14 million for a team like the Dodgers really that worth it? He's going to be playing on a team anyway. If the Dodgers get rid of him, he's going to be somewhere else. It's going to happen. I'm just interested to see what happens. But like I said, if I'm the Dodgers, I'm playing him. So
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. I think that the Dodgers rotation, especially after losing Tyler Anderson earlier this season, is going to take a hit. Earlier this offseason, I should say, is going to take a hit. And I think bringing back a former Cy Young Award winner, a guy who still has more than enough left in the tank, a guy who is super competitive, wants to go out, wants to win, I think it's just the perfect fit to bring him back to the Dodgers. No matter, like Alex mentioned, no matter what type of situation the water is and what the backlash might be, at the end of the day, he's going to help you win ball games. And that's what matters in baseball, is winning ball games right now.
that's true. That is true. Last time Trevor Bauer pitched was June 28th of 2021. Long time ago. Feels like less, but it's also felt like it's been a very long time now that you start thinking about it. But was on June 28th of 2021 against the Giants at Dodger Stadium, went 6 innings pitched, gave up 2 runs, got the W. Dodgers also got the dub. Ended that season technically with a 2.59 ERA. He was looking very good. But he was looking very, very good. And I hope he comes back, and I hope he's a monster. I hope he just picks up where he left off. I hope he continues the antics. I hope he just does everything.
Give me more swords.
Yeah, there are some guys who were accused of things similar to what he was, and are still playing the game. So, I don't know. It just, lot of different things going on. I'm excited to have him back.
Yeah.
Energy. He was one of the guys who in 2020, 2021 was helping build the game, bring more attention to MLB, make it more exciting, make kids want to watch it more, growing the game in general. And I think losing him was bad. It's the same, similar to Tatis, how face of baseball, going to come back from his injury. Everyone's happy. He's coming back from his injury soon. Gets hit with PED fine and suspension, and now he's gone. But he was one of the faces of baseball just before he left. So it's I'm excited.
Yeah, and I mean, to just touch on Tatis, too, Bauer and Tatis was, like, a fun, like, lighthearted rivalry that was really brewing up in the 2021 season, especially since they are now, I think you can call the Dodgers and the Padres an actual rivalry, especially after the last year's postseason. Having a guy like Trevor Bauer, who loves to be so energetic, who likes to be so emotional, and lets out all that emotion while standing on the mound, along with the young, fun, absolute superstar that is Tatis, and having them go back and forth, and Tatis trolling Bauer, saying that he hit a home run with one eye closed, and all that, Trevor Bauer accusing him of stealing the signs while in the batter's box. Everything about that made baseball a lot more entertaining, and not to say that it was like other sports, but it certainly brought an attraction like other sports do.
I agree. Can we do a little? Actually, we'll do it at the end.
Oh,
Save it for a segment. Yeah, I'm excited. I think he's excited. He's already said that he's the vlogs. His YouTube vlogs are coming back. They're gonna be better than ever. I mean, I'm really excited for that mostly because those were some of my favorite content that I've consumed.
Yeah, especially
on YouTube.
The way that it's put together and the fact that you get to see this whole other side of baseball that, like, you can hear all the time, only a very select amount of people in the world get to play in Major League Baseball, and the fact that Trevor Bauer was willing enough to bring a camera around and show what his day-to-day life was really important to growing the game of baseball and to making it more interesting and to making more kids want to go out and play baseball, because you see that, like, Little League numbers and numbers from high schools are down. Mm-hmm. However, doing something like that really makes kids want to go out, grind, and get to that level so that they can enjoy the things that Bauer is just showing us.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what he does when he comes back. I want to see, like, trolling at an all-time high. I want to see celebrations at an all-time high.
You know what?
I just want to see everything. I literally just want to see everything. Show me like strike a batter out, get the ball back, just throw it at the batter's head.
Okay, that's not a celebration. That's assault.
Don't strike out. It's an incentive to not strike out.
I think that we need a Trevor Bauer does a classic one eye closed at bat. I think we need a two eyes closed at bat and really see what he can do. I mean, I would be entertained.
He should just start throwing righty and lefty.
Or he should wear a chicken bucket.
Or wear a chicken bucket on his head. But yeah, that's Trevor Bauer. Welcome back, Trevor.
Welcome back, Trevor. Congratulations.
Yeah. And 2020 Cy Young winner, NL Cy Young winner. Got some hardware. You know who else has some hardware?
Who else?
Carlos Correa.
Really?
The 2015 Rookie of the Year.
Mm.
But Carlos Correa is far from being a rookie at this point in his career.
However,
he is a free agent right now.
Right.
We all know his fiasco with the Giants. Agrees to a 13-year deal with the Giants, $350 million. Falls through because of his physical. The Mets swoop in, pick him up on a deal. But wait. We're not sure. Because the Mets saw Correa's physical and said, maybe the Giants were onto something here. And that deal has not been even signed yet. And the deal was agreed to
a week ago.
Yeah, the deal was agreed to on December 21st, which was at the time of this 9 days ago. And the deal has still not been signed because of these, what they're seeing in these physicals, which I can tell you exactly what it is just not looking good. So they're trying to rework the deal, but what could a reworked deal look like? because
I have a funny feeling that it's not going to be anything close to what Bauer got from the Giants, let alone
no. What Correa got?
Oh, what Correa got from the Giants, let alone the Mets. I think. Is it crazy to say that Correa might take another Twins deal? One opt out, one opt out?
No, I
But with the Mets. Mets.
should probably explain what the injury is and why it's causing this much of an issue.
Oh, yes, please do.
Because back in 2014, Carlos Correa had surgery on a fractured fibula bone, which is in your leg. I was reading up on this. He had a metal plate inserted into his leg to fix the fractured fibula bone. And on September 20th or mid to late September of last season, on a sliding play into second base, a steal, he re-aggravated that fibula bone. You could see he was in pain, visible pain. So afterwards, Correa said, hey, look, I'm all right. Nothing to worry about. But coming up in these x-rays, apparently it was something to worry about because now these teams are seeing some sort of re-aggravation in that fibula, which if it is a full re-aggravation, he could need surgery once again, or potentially will never be the same after the surgery because it's his second time getting the surgery. Just a lot of different factors go into it, which is why teams don't want to give him this deal.
Right. Another thing that I have seen all the same things. I was also able to speak to somebody who has the same injury. Shout out to that Twitter user. I forget his name at the moment. However, he explained that doctors told him that there's a chance of building up a really bad case of arthritis where it will hurt you to walk within 10 years of having the surgery, maybe a little bit longer. And if Correa got this surgery in 2014, I mean, if you're just going by the timetable of what somebody else was told, not what Correa was told, obviously, that it could get worse, like really, really bad. No team wants to give a guy 10 years, $300 million plus for a guy who can only play 4 or 5 more years max.
Yeah, and if you're thinking an injury's going to get worse, there's like you said, there's no point in giving that contract, especially for that amount of money, which is why you could see a deal being worked out where the Mets, say, give Correa still a 10, 12-year deal, but with a team option after every year.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, look, if you can play for us and be healthy, we'll keep you if you're good. If you're still playing good and you're still healthy, we'll keep you.
Or they give him an incentive-based contract based on at-bats, games, and something else.
I don't think that's fair because you can get injured in ways that aren't just his fibula bone. I don't think that's too fair. That's why I don't think they would do that. That just doesn't seem like something Correa would agree to. Because say he breaks his arm. That has nothing to do with the fibula bone, and he's making less money for no reason. I think it would be... I don't know how detailed they can go with the contract. I think they can go as detailed as they want. Yep. I feel like they can say, hey, look, we'll give you a 10, 12, 11, what would they do? A 12-year deal, 13-year deal, whatever they agree to. Mm-hmm. But we have a team option after every year only if... And we can only opt you out of the contract if it has to do with your fibula bone. We can't just opt you out of the contract because you're playing bad. So it still does guarantee Correa the money, but it also gives the Mets an out if he were to, like we said, get surgery on that fibula bone or re-aggravate it to the point where he might not be the same player afterward. Like, only if it has something to do with that fibula bone, you know?
Right. I think that that's a good idea. Another thought is, what if they do mutual options? Because we know Correa is a Scott Boras client, and Boras will always look for the most amount of money possible. So let's just say Correa signs 5 years, mutual options after the second year, third year, and fourth year, right? What if after that second year, Mets win a World Series, Correa wants to go somewhere else because he knows he can get a better contract money-wise? I think that there's a chance that a mutual option is agreed upon instead, just because
Maybe.
if Correa doesn't want to play with the Mets can still basically force his hand and keep him there.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. There's a lot of different ways this deal can be worked out, but judging based on the fact that it's been 9 days already, and stuff came out that they didn't like the physical about 4 days ago, 3 days ago, 4 to 5 days ago.
Yeah.
Considering it seems like they've just halted all negotiations. It's looking weird, and it looks like this is far from over, which is why it's so confusing right now. What is really going on with Carlos Correa, and what this deal is going to look like at the end. Obviously, we've said what we both think the deal could look like. I think realistically, it might either end in the Mets just giving him a 1-year deal or a 2-year deal even. That's if Correa even plays in 2023. What if he gets another surgery right before the season starts? Yeah, it's just an interesting situation. What I'm hearing is the Long Island Ducks are going to sign Carlos Correa to a 1-year deal this season. At the end of this season for a prove yourself deal with the Long Island Ducks. He's going to get picked up by the Athletics.
That would be so unfair.
They'll give him $50K. He'll hit 40 home runs in 32 games.
In Oakland?
In Oakland. 75 RBIs in those 42 games or 32 games. He'll win MVP while only playing 32 games.
Oh, in 40 plate appearances.
And then the A's will win the World Series. So I've got it outlined in my head. I know what's going to happen.
Yeah. I think, okay, in all seriousness.
That was serious.
I think it's right now a 50-50 shot that Correa does sign something with the Mets, or he walks away and finds something else. Because I think right now, with how many teams are noticing how serious of how serious of an injury this can be for Carlos Correa, I think that we're going to see teams jump in and be like, okay, I understand that this is serious and this can hurt you, and this can hurt us if we spend all this money. However, we'll cut the contract in half, give you the same AAV, come play for us until you literally can't anymore. I could see something like that happening.
Yeah. There's a lot of different ways this contract could be reworked.
And there's also a lot of different ways where we don't see him in a Mets uniform opening day.
Right. Well, there's not a lot of different ways. There's
As
one
of
way.
right now,
there's
20
one way that happens,
yeah.
And that's the Mets say, you're not worth it, get rid of you. And at that point, I think if the Mets don't sign him, he's getting a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
The Mets could sign him to a 1-year deal, but I think if the Mets don't sign him, he's only going to get 1 year.
I know that other teams have reached out to Carlos Correa and his team. One of those teams, the Padres, for some reason, don't know why the hell they would need another shortstop.
Well,
they were just inquiring, as I thought. I know that there was a report going around 12 years with 12 opt-outs. That's not a real thing. There's no way in hell that someone's
that's
do
fair.
that.
That's fair.
But a 1-year prove-it deal with the Padres, adding, I think, their 7th shortstop-eligible player, would be fun. Another team, which I didn't understand, was the Angels.
The Angels are always looking for overpriced position players.
Right, but I guess we can get into that later, unless you want to jump into Angels talk quick right now, because there's a lot of problems down there.
We'll talk about it in a bit.
We'll talk about it in a bit, okay. But the Angels were another team, as well as people keep saying the Boston Braves, the Atlanta Braves, but the Braves, exact opposite end of the earth as to what the Braves are all about getting young guys and paying them cheap and all that. Bringing in a shortstop like Carlos Correa is going to cost you $30 million a year, even if it's just for one season.
Yeah, it's very off-brand.
So I just don't see it happening. But it also would be really funny if, Correa's like, oh yeah, let's go Mets, I'm signing with you guys, and then walks to their division rival right before opening day or something.
That would be funny.
Yeah, it would be. Mets moment of the month.
Mets moment of the month.
Yeah.
What did you want to say about the Angels?
Well, the Angels, I mean, there's a lot of trouble going on there. As we came to find out last season, during the season, the ownership group the owner is selling the Los Angeles Angels. And everyone was like, okay, this is good because they still have Ohtani for a year and a half at the time because it was right before the trade deadline. They still have him for a year and a half. They have Mike Trout locked up. They have Anthony Rendon locked up. And a new owner who can come in and spend money like what Steve Cohen wants to do or like Steve Cohen has done would really help that team because they have some of the best players on the planet right now. Turns out that anybody who wants to buy the Angels is not really willing to pay what it costs to keep around one Shohei Ohtani, and Mike Trout has been pretty public about it. He has basically said that he wouldn't mind being traded without saying that he wouldn't mind being traded, which is interesting because obviously I think if any team were to try to get Mike Trout, I think the hometown favorite of the Philadelphia Phillies would be the ones who try to pick him up the most.
Yeah.
But I could definitely see a world where the Angels get sold and immediately trade off Mike Trout for what will guarantee to be the biggest trade in baseball history, as well as letting Shohei Ohtani walk because they don't want to spend that money right away as an ownership. Like the new owners or ownership group does not want to spend that much money. Which would be one of the craziest, what if the Angels had built a good team with having Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani on the same team. However, everything's up in the air. No one really knows what's happening, but there have been no bidding offers for the Angels since being posted for sale.
Fair. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you would figure someone would want to buy him.
Right. You would think. So, it's a great franchise, right? They won a World Series in 2002.
It's the Mickey Mouse franchise.
True. They have the two best players when completely healthy in baseball. No questions asked. Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani is just amazing. Anthony Rendon, who was a former MVP finalist, and you just got a couple guys. It makes you look a little bit better, and there's so much room to grow and develop and everything like that, and make a good contending team out of this Angels team. The fact that no one wants to jump in, say, yeah, you know what, let's do it, let's buy it, and let's go make us a contender, is concerning.
Yeah.
And I think it's that Mike Trout contract and the thought of paying Shohei Ohtani to satisfy the fans that's turning people away.
Well, maybe what they should do is sell off Trout and Ohtani and then start doing what the Braves are doing and signing young guys while they're still rookies and they pan out to be very good, get these long contracts, low amount of money, because that's exactly what they just did with Sean Murphy. They just signed him. I hate to go off the Angels talk.
No.
But they just signed him. Or they just traded for him, and just 2 days ago extended him for 6 years.
3 days.
3 years?
3 days ago.
Oh.
Because the clock just turned.
2 days ago, extended him for 6 years, $73 million.
What a steal.
A steal for a guy like Sean Murphy. How much a year is that? I am.
So funny enough, it's actually not all the same AAV. It's like $4 million this season, but $9 million the next season, and then 15.
Still, it's around $12.6 million. $12 and 2/3 million every year if you just put it evenly. Yeah. Which is a great deal for a catcher like Sean Murphy, who could potentially be an all-star for the next 6 years.
Agreed.
So, I'm impressed from the Braves how they're just constantly able to take young talent and extend them on deals that are long-term and good money. I mean, they had Ozzie Albies is currently being paid $34 million, not a year, total for an 8-year contract. I mean, you could be a Braves fan. That's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
That is ridiculous with the way he's been. How many times has he been an All-Star?
I think twice.
Ozzie Albies. How many times has he been an All-Star? Not Albert Bell.
Ozzie Albies has been an All-Star twice, yeah.
He's been an All-Star 2 out of his 6 years. He's been in MVP voting. He has 2 Silver Sluggers. The guy has a career .271 batting average. He's only being paid $34 million for his entire contract, which, yes, is still a lot.
And the best part is that the last 2 years, of that deal is team options. Like, if the Braves
Wild.
say that he's not even worth it, they can still unload the money.
It's
which
wild.
is just insane.
Good for the Braves, though. I mean, they have a talent. Alex Anthopoulos is just a different breed.
He's a goon. He's an absolute goon. The fact that he can do this with this type of organization that didn't want to pay Dansby Swanson, but he's able to convince these guys that this unproven talent is just as valuable, if not more valuable, than the proven superstar and cornerstone of your franchise is an art within itself.
You know, it's hard to argue guaranteed money for a long amount of time, and when you're a young guy just coming to the league, just like Michael Harris this year. I mean, they signed him to an extension. It's hard to pass that up, which is something Dansby Swanson did. He passed up that young contract, that money for longer years, option
you might be worth this.
From the Braves. He passed that up, and it worked out for him.
Yeah.
$177 million, but Dansby Swanson is now making. And the Braves have their team will be looking like their team for a long time. They have Austin Riley until 2033, which is as of Saturday, or as of Sunday, 10 years, the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Michael Harris through 2032, which is the next 9 years. Matt Olson through 2030, which is the next 7 years. Spencer Strider through 2029. Acuna through 2028. Vaughn Grisham through 2028. Albies through 27. Kyle Wright through 26. And Max Fried only till 24. But you can only imagine they're going to extend Max Fried.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we also thought they would extend Dansby and Freddie. So, We'll see.
I think the best part about this is that not only is the core so young and the core is all locked up, and everybody, although they're so young, they're proven talent. Like, they are legitimate starters, all-stars. Maybe even we have a future MVP or two hiding within that starting lineup. It's that the Braves have been able to work out these deals of trading for superstar players like Matt Olson last season and signing him long-term, like what they just did with Sean Murphy and signing him long-term. They've been able to work out all these deals, and yet I would still bet that they have 5 guys sitting in Double-A and single high A who could come up this season and win a Rookie of the Year just as Michael Harris did.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know their farm system all that well, but I mean, I wouldn't put it past them, I don't think.
I mean, if one of those coaches ever hit the free agent market, you have to imagine that somebody is foaming at the mouth thinking about having them.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, to hell, I'm thinking about how cool it would be if every organization had a coaching staff throughout their entire system like the Braves do, where they can develop this young talent. Because one thing that we always see in baseball is that it's upsetting when superstars of the game get older and they can't play as well, and you don't really know where the organization is looking for that next superstar to fill the gap. The Braves, man, I feel like their entire starting lineup could go missing, and they could still put out a team there that wins 100 games.
Like, I understand what you're saying, but I don't think I would go that far.
No, I'm being very extreme, I'll admit that.
Yeah.
But it would be, like, I feel like it's just a Braves thing, and I wish that every organization had the ability to do that, because young talent in baseball makes it much more connected to the fans, much more connected to the guys who haven't made it to the show yet, and it just makes the game of baseball a lot more exciting when there's this young kid like Michael Harris, like, Tatis, who they're willing to show their emotion, they're willing to have fun, and they're willing to show how exciting it is to play baseball, to watch baseball. And it just means a lot to a lot of people, including myself, because young talent is always the best form of talent, because they'll be around for the longest time.
Oh, well, of course. I just like watching the young guys. They play with a lot more energy.
Yeah.
They remind me of Milo when he sees a ball.
Is he asleep?
Yeah, he's dead asleep. It's fine. But yeah, no, excited for the Braves.
Yeah.
I want to talk about a trade that happened now. The Diamondbacks and the Blue Jays made a trade earlier last week, or earlier this week still. Center fielder Dalton Varsho was traded to the Toronto Blue Jays in exchange for catcher Gabriel Moreno and outfielder Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Good trade for both teams.
Yes.
However,
However,
I would say that the Diamondbacks won this trade.
yeah.
It's tough to say because the Blue Jays are getting a very, very good center fielder. Like, maybe underrated.
Who's going to move over to a corner outfield spot now with Springer?
Yeah, he's going to move over to corner outfield, but I don't think that really matters. That doesn't change his bat.
Yeah.
And it's arguably, if you're a center fielder, you can play the other sides of the field.
Especially in the AL East, where you have got places like the Rogers Center, which is where Dalton Varsho will be playing, where you have the massive right field. That's almost another center field in Fenway Park. And, oh my God, I'm forgetting a team. Yeah, and Camden Yards with the massive left field. That's more than half the division has just a big outfield that you do need a center fielder basically to play not only left or right field, but also center field. So, a very good trade from the Blue Jays. However, the other side of the trade, Diamondbacks, do you want to get into them a little bit?
Yeah, of course. So the Diamondbacks pick up Lourdes Gurriel Jr. And yes, like we said, Varsho is a very good center fielder, very good outfielder in general. He's going to fit right in with the AL East. But I'd argue Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is right up there with him. The only difference between these two players is the amount of team control. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. will be a free agent after next season. But he is an incredible player. He batted .291 last season in 121 games played. Varsho batted around .235. He had 27 home runs, though, as opposed to Gurriel's 5 home runs. The other plus for the Blue Jays with Varsho is that he is a lefty, and we know that the Blue Jays struggle with getting lefties in their lineup.
Yes.
But, like I was saying, for the Diamondbacks, I like this trade for them. They get Gurriel, a guy who can bat .290 to .300 on any given season. Anywhere from .275 to .300, you could see him batting. He has power, the potential for power, that is.
Yes.
He can get a 20 home run season. Got the power. He could hit for the average, and he's gonna be playing as many games as possible. He doesn't really get injured that much. Knock on wood. Hopefully, I'm not jinxing anything. And then you get a young catcher in Gabriel Moreno, who, in a short time on the MLB roster last season, batted really well. He reminds me of Alejandro Kirk. Could be because he's on the same team, but they're both short and a little, they're both short, is what I'm going to say.
Okay, you forgot the word chunky.
A little bit chunky. But they're very similar. And I'm going to be honest, I think he's going to be a stud. Their catcher currently is Carson Kelly, but I can definitely see Gabriel Moreno being their starting catcher by the All-Star break. And they have control over him till about 2028, maybe?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, they have control over him till 2029, potentially, with arbitration and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think this was a very good deal for the Diamondbacks. I think it needed to be done. But on the Blue Jays side of things, I also think it was a good deal. I just think more for what your team wants, I believe the Diamondbacks won this trade. Especially because the Blue Jays also got rid of Teoscar Hernandez.
Earlier this offseason.
Yeah.
Yeah, not much more that I can really say to that. I think that I certainly do agree with the fact that the Diamondbacks have won this trade, but it does benefit both teams. The one thing that I'm interested to see is now how the Diamondbacks do structure their lineup moving forward. Obviously, Gurriel is going to be in the lineup. I do think that the right move is to DH Carson Kelly and have Gabriel Moreno sit behind the plate every game.
Moreno.
I
cannot stand for this Moreno.
My apologies.
He's not Justin Moreno.
Yeah, he's not Justin Moreno. Moreno. Could definitely see Moreno playing more games behind the plate and having Carson Kelly DH because Carson Kelly does bring a positive bat to the lineup.
Can I just interrupt you there? You can't DFA Carson Kelly.
I said DH.
No, I thought you said DFA earlier.
I said DH.
Oh, okay.
The whole time.
I was going to say, because you can't DFA him because they have no other catchers. Anyway, go on. Yeah, DH, whatever.
But definitely DHing Carson Kelly to bring another bat to the lineup, along with having the young guys in Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte, who I feel like has just always been young and is very good. Good things are happening in Arizona, especially with the pitching staff, and now it looks like their lineup is kind of turning around, and it's going to be fun. I think I'm going to watch a lot more Diamondbacks games than I even think I will. Thought I would, starting this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason I have the hat on today.
Yeah.
Snake's hat. The Diamondbacks are looking like to be a fun team. I mean, Corbin Carroll, like you said, young stud. I think he's going to be good next year. Hopefully. I'm excited to watch him. I might actually watch Diamondbacks opening day. Ketel Marte, who has been in trade rumors for the past 3 years or something, but it's kind of obvious at this point that they're not going to trade him. Jake McCarthy, who was good last season, very good last season. Christian Walker, who hits bombs. Josh Rojas exists. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Josh Rojas was actually very good last season, batted 270. But Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Gabriel Moreno. I'm excited to see what this team could do. Obviously, earlier this offseason, they also picked up Kyle Lewis, a former Rookie of the Year winner. They just have a lot of pieces that I'm going to enjoy watching, as will you.
Where do they finish in the NL West?
I would say probably third.
That's what I would say too.
Third or fourth.
And that's a big jump for the Diamondbacks.
That's not my official guess, but on the surface, I'd probably say third or fourth.
I would say third.
The only thing holding me back from giving a definite third is seeing how their rotation can do, because you got Zach Gallen, he's going to be good. Merrill Kelly, he's going to be good. Bumgarner has taken steps back in the last few seasons. I don't think he's going to be amazing next season. Hopefully he can bounce back a little bit and still be your 3 starter.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got 4 and 5, and currently their 4 starter is Ryan Nelson, and Drake Jameson, which sounds odd, but then you look at the fact that 18 innings pitched for Nelson last season, 1.47 ERA, and then 24 and a third innings pitched for Jameson, and a 1.48 ERA. So, could that be luck? We have no idea. Both of them were drafted in 2019. So, it's a very toss-up with their bottom end of their starters. And then you have their bullpen, which is obviously, it's not one of the best bullpens in baseball. It's not even close. So, what's really holding it back for me is their pitching. So that's the only thing that's saying they're worse than the Giants right now for me.
Yeah.
I mean, the Giants' pitching is definitely better than this. So
agreed, but I think the lineups is what evens it out.
I don't. I mean, the Giants still have a very good lineup. Yes, they don't have Aaron Judge or Carlos Correa. They still have a very good lineup, though. Their lineup is still. They still got Conforto. They still got Haniger. Still have Yastrzemski, who was not great last season, but could turn it around. Tyro Estrada, young stud. He's been amazing.
Well,
Joey Bart, John Peterson.
We got 90 days.
We do have exactly 3 months until the season starts. I'm very excited. And you know what? I'll ride the Diamondbacks train right now. I'll wear this Snake's hat whenever I'm watching a Diamondbacks game.
Fair.
I'm excited for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
Let's give Diamondbacks a round of applause.
Let's go D-backs.
Yeah. What do we got up next? I mean, I think we should do some rumors now.
Really?
What do you think?
Should we get into some rumors?
Let's get into it. Welcome to Lewis's Rumor Mill. I shouldn't be saying that. You should be saying that.
Welcome to Lewis's Rumor Mill, everybody.
That was really underwhelming.
The only rumor mill with Lewis in it. So we're going to jump right into it. I do have a very good amount of rumors and information that obviously are not main topics of the show. However, I will get to them right now. San Francisco Giants went out, got Trevor Rogers brought him in on a 3-year, $33 million a year contract, as well as Michael Conforto on a 2-year, $36 million contract with an opt-out after the first year. That is a player opt-out, which more than likely will be exercised if Michael Conforto plays as well as he did last time we saw him in the bigs. Philadelphia Phillies picked up Craig Kimbrell, replacing David Robertson that they had during the playoff run with Craig Kimbrell, who hopefully can bounce back a little bit because he did not pitch all to the ability that we thought he had the last couple seasons with the Dodgers. The New York Mets, as we mentioned, have a big concern with Carlos Correa's physical, and no one really knows what's going to happen there. Teams have checked in on the availability of Chris Sale in trade rumors to the Boston Red Sox. However, the Red Sox are saying that they're not even accepting calls unless they are told prior that it is the perfect trade package by others, which means that it's just not the GM's office who's dealing with it immediately. Rich Hill, 1-year, $8 million contract with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Dick Mountain.
Long
Island Ducks legend.
Long Island Duck legend.
I love that for the Pirates.
Love it for
Rich
the
Hill,
Pirates.
prove yourself, get another contract.
Get another contract. Come on. 43 years old by the time opening day comes around.
This is his 19th season in MLB.
Yep.
And he played 3 games in the Atlantic League.
3 games.
Long Island Ducks legend.
That's all it needs.
That's all he needs.
That's all he needs.
Legend. Put him in the Hall of Fame.
Texas Rangers went out and picked up the best starting pitcher left on the market in Nathan Eovaldi on a 2-year, $34 million contract.
I love that deal.
Absolutely great option. Great deal. Vesting option for the 3rd year, which means that he just has to hit certain numbers before he can opt in or opt out of that 3rd year. But it certainly does bolster the Texas Rangers starting rotation.
Yeah, I mean, take a look at that rotation.
Yeah.
DeGrom, Martin Perez, John Gray, Nathan Eovaldi, Andrew Heaney. Andrew Heaney. Jake Odorizzi gets moved to the pen as like a long reliever, maybe 6th starter. You never know.
Great move.
But what a move! I mean, if the Rangers are going to be a good team next season. We said the same thing last season, but now you can say it even more. DeGrom, Martin Perez, John Gray. They're arguably their 3rd starter right now was their 1 starter last season.
Yeah.
And even if you say Martin Perez was their 1 starter last season, he's still their 2 starter now, which is always a good sign.
Of course.
And Eovaldi, I think he's going to have a good year. Heaney probably will still be good if he figured something out with the Dodgers. I doubt he's just going to forget how he did it.
I think the Dodgers did unlock something with him, which is good.
I don't think they're just going to forget how he did it. Obviously, DeGrom's going to be DeGrom.
Yeah.
Hopefully, DeGrom stays healthy. But I do love
I think he will.
I love this Nathan Eovaldi signing. I think it's a steal. I think he really was the best bet left on the market, the best pitcher left on the market.
He definitely was, and there's no question about it. Continuing right along, the rumor mill will keep spinning. Corey Kluber, 1-year, $10 million contract with the Red Sox with an option for the 2nd year.
Boring.
Who cares? Atlanta Braves get arguably one of the most fan-favorite relievers in the New York Yankee organization in Lucas Litke for 2 minor leaguers who really have not amounted to anything yet, but that's just because they're still in lower divisions of the minor leagues. Gene Segura, it came out maybe 11 o'clock a couple nights ago that he was talking to the Miami Marlins, and the Miami Marlins had requested to meet with him. Within the hour, Gene Segura signed a 2-year, $17 million deal with the Miami Marlins. Tommy La Stella was DFA'd by the San Francisco Giants. I definitely can see him getting picked up somewhere.
Probably minor league deal.
Minor league deal with an invitation to spring training, and hopefully he can earn a spot because I do think that Tommy La Stella is better than what we saw with him on the Giants. Atlanta Braves made another trade. Cash considerations going to the Texas Rangers in exchange for outfielder Eli White, who had the, in my opinion, catch of the year last year. That home run robbery in left center field where he was maybe 3.5, 4 feet over the wall was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Situational, but pretty cool.
Certainly. The Seattle Mariners, Los Angeles Dodgers, and New York Yankees, what do they all have in common?
They're baseball teams.
They are all favorites to land Brian Reynolds going into the second half of this offseason. It seems as if the Pirates are actually more urgent to move him than they had originally said. I think it was more of a, call our bluff, we want you to overpay for him because we want to get rid of him. And I think they showed their hands a little bit too early. And last but certainly not least, the Padres are now taking calls on Trent Grisham and Hassan Kim, which they want to move in a package for more than likely an outfielder, if I have to guess.
Great. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
I do think the mill might have spun a little too fast. Because I don't want to backtrack.
No, come on.
Well,
No,
I wasn't listing everything you said as you said it. You were saying it way too fast. What do we want to backtrack to? I don't know. I don't have anything in front of me.
Gene Zadora, 2-year, $17 million deal with the Marlins. We knew that his time was over with the Phillies after signing Trey Turner.
Good for them. That's all I have to say.
Good for the Marlins.
Fish with arms. Boys down south.
Gotta ride with the boys down south.
Always ride with the boys down south.
Corey Kluber, I am blown away that he got a $10 million contract.
Boring. I don't even care. I don't even want to talk about the Red Sox. They suck. They give up every player. They let JD walk. They let Xander walk. They let Nathan Eovaldi walk. They are the most boring team in baseball.
And I do think that at some point this season, whether it be before spring training or after the season starts, Chris Sale will be in a different uniform. I just think that the Red Sox know that they're going in the wrong direction, and why keep such a valuable piece like Chris Sale when you can rebuild for the future?
Yep. I'll tell you what I am excited for. Speaking of the Marlins, I'm excited for Jazz Chisholm to play next season. I'm excited to see him all of next season. I'm just excited for Jazz Chisholm. We were just talking about this. I'm excited for that guy. He only played less than half the season, maybe. But I'm just excited to see him play. I love Jazz Chisholm.
He played 60 games last season.
Yeah, less than half the season.
But was an all-star.
Played less than half the season last year. Didn't play in the second half of the season. I'm excited to see him back on the diamond this season. That's all I really had to say.
Yeah, he will be moving over to short, if I did guess, with the signing of.
I don't think so. I think he's gonna stay. I think it depends on what they want to do, because they still have Joey Wendell.
Right, third baseman.
Right, but he can play shortstop, and Gene Segura can play third base, because it really depends on if Jazz wants to play second or short, which I think is a decision that he is going to make. I don't think the team's going to make that decision for him.
Yeah,
he is in a position to make that decision for himself.
I would agree with you.
We'll
see what he wants to do.
Yeah, and I think that's it. I mean, now we can get into my personal favorite.
Oh no!
Bite or spit. I have 4 prompts here, all having to do with stuff we talked about in this episode. I have 4 prompts here. We are going to say, I will say the prompt, and we will determine whether we are going to bite it, which it means we agree with the take. We say, yes, that is going to happen. Or we spit it, which means we disagree, which means, no, that's not going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. The first one. Will Trevor Bauer... No. Bite or spit Trevor Bauer being in the Dodgers rotation on opening day?
I'll bite it. I'll bite Trevor Bauer.
I'm also going to bite it. Okay. Second one here. We talked about the Angels being sold. Bite or spit me buying the Los Angeles Angels?
Just you.
Me buying the Los Angeles Angels.
The Los Angeles Normal Dogs.
No. Los Angeles Angels. We'll keep the name. Too much money to rebrand. Me buying the Angels. Bite or spit?
I'll spit it for now.
All right. I'm going to have to sniff. I'll sniff it.
No, whoa.
Fine, I'll bite it.
Okay.
I'll bite it. Without revealing too much, I'll bite it.
Without revealing too much.
We talked about the Diamondbacks, how we think they might be pretty good this season. Bite or spit, the Diamondbacks winning over 80 games this season.
Oh, wow. 80 games is a big... How many games did they win last season?
80 games is a lot. They won 74 last season. And keep in mind, the Chicago Cubs also won 74 games last season. I'm biting it. If you win 74 games last season to make your team better, in theory, you're going to win more than 74 games.
Tell you what, I will bite it, but it's like a nibble. It's not a full It's a...
All right, well, I'll bite it. I'll give it a full bite.
Okay.
Let's go Diamondbacks.
Yes.
And finally, we talked about the health concerns with Carlos Correa. Hasn't signed a deal yet. Don't know what's going on. Bite or spit Carlos Correa being in a Mets uniform on opening day?
Ooh, that's the hardest one I think you've gotten to.
Let's see. I think me buying the Angels was pretty hard.
Bite or spit Carlos Correa wearing a Mets uniform.
Would you like to tell me? Would you like me to tell you what I think?
Yeah, you go first.
I'm going with bite.
Okay.
I think they'll get something done.
Tell you what, but it would look cool if I said that it wasn't going to happen, so I'm going to say spit.
Well, now you have the whole clip of you saying you're only saying that because you think it would look cool. So.
Well, that and I kind of believe it too. Like I mentioned earlier, I believe it's more of like a 50-50 shot.
Fair.
So.
Okay.
That legit was a coin flip for me.
Yeah, that's all I got. Bite or spit.
Bite or spit. The best bit on the show.
My personal favorite. But yeah, I think that'll do it for this episode. Bite or spit rounds it out. We did fun times in baseball today.
Bite or spit is like the double leadoff. He's like the 9-hole hitter that leads off for the one.
Exactly. I'm the 9-hole. Yeah, exactly. I'm the 9-hole hitter who's only bats ninth, so that you don't get too comfortable. You have to flip over the lineup.
Flip the lineup.
I'm like Brett Gardner.
You are like the piano man.
Brett Gardner in the 9-hole. I should be the leadoff,
but
I'm in the 9-hole just to be pesky.
Woo!
All right.
We snuck Brett Gardner into an episode.
Love Brett Gardner. Thank you guys for listening, subscribing, sharing, following, commenting, rating, and all that jazz. Sharing, too. Thank you guys for watching. We love you all.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe,
we
share.
just went through this. I don't know if you listen to me or
not. I don't. Not at all.
Wow. Well, that is it for this episode of the Normal Baseball Podcast. We will see you guys next time. Peace.